I've always been a reader, and one of the books I read a long number of years ago when I very first started the business was a book by Paul Hawken called Growing a Business. And he advocated two things that really struck a chord with me. One was that you want to build a business that would last 100 years. And you would also want your business to delight your customers beyond any reasonable expectation they could hope to have. Those two things really resonated with me. They seemed like the right reason to do anything. And we've really embraced that notion. To work just to make money or to try and even make lots of money seemed to be so hollow. It was always just fun to think that we were about something more important, more satisfying than that. All the good ideas in a business and running a business don't come from the people who own the business, but rather from the employees who work in the business. The idea that, as you work to serve people, you discovered ways to do things that were better. And the people that were discovering those things are the people who are actually serving the people. That's always been fun, to look into the ranks of the employees in the family of people that are here, to find a way to help people and know that that's the place to look, and also what your customers tell you in terms of how to help people better. The more I looked at it, the more I saw there were two paths. One of the paths was you run a business to maximize how much money the business could make. The other way was to run a business to be the best that you could in that space, to be the best in that endeavor. And that, again, just seemed to solve for two parts of the equation. When you're the best at anything, you're very profitable and you make plenty of money, and so that stops being an item. When you're the best in anything, you also have the satisfaction that comes from accomplishing that. So that's always been what we've strived to do. One of the challenges that I ran into when I was really younger was the notion that you should, embrace the world's wisdom, that you set production goals and you follow a specified plan, and that you meet dividend projections, and you create certain financial hallmarks, and you get there and you then try and exceed them. Again, all of that felt so hollow to me that we never decided to do that. We don't presently, and we have never had production goals of any kind. We don't operate, serve a board of directors. We don't hit dividend projections. We just don't operate our business that way. We operate instead according to business principles, things that we feel are the right reasons to do things, and encompass the idea that you serve your customers, you do it with excellence, you always keep your ethics at the very highest level, and you operate in complete integrity. And it's so freeing. It lets you operate with a whole different mindset about why you're doing what you're doing. Our agenda is always to accomplish the client's agenda. So when we work with them, we just try and figure out what is it that their business needs and can use, and what things do they not even know they need? How can we bring that to our field of expertise? And so when you do that with excellence and purpose and a really clear idea that you're helping people, it just solves for all kinds of other problems. You are never in the place where the client has to second guess the decisions you make or the recommendations you give them. The client doesn't have to worry about, am I getting the right things accomplished? That's just part of what we do. That's part of who we are. That's the fabric of our culture. That's very gratifying to bring that level of expertise to clients and know that we do it on their agenda, in their time frame, for their purposes. A long time ago, I got interested in mission statements, and I asked everybody in the company to write their own mission statement. Then we integrated that into a mission statement on behalf of FBC. And when we did that, one of the challenges in a kind of a secular world is you bring a mission statement out, if it says, with God's grace we will, you know that some people are going to read that and go, wow, that really speaks to me. And some people are going to go, what are you doing here? Are you flying a flag in front of my face? Maybe they aren't sure where they stand in regard to that. But we know God loves everybody, and we do too. So a long time ago, when I very first kind of faced that challenge, I brought that out to a very large client, a multi-locational client, more than 1,000 employees, and we said, this is who we are. And when you start that way and you don't know where they are on that, there's an element of concern with it. But what we found was that the reason the HR people decided to work with us was because of what our mission statement said. So that alleviated any concern about having that as part of who we are. We don't do that to try and push our faith on anybody. We want our faith to be the reason for our work. People around here are completely sold on the idea that we do things for all the right reasons, and it makes life here so easy and pleasant, and being on the same page about those things is such a great way to come to work every day. We knew with the advent of the Affordable Care Act that we were either going to have to decide not to be in this business or become technical experts in the law, and we decided to do that. So in addition to writing white papers and going to Washington, D.C. and getting really involved with the legislators, we needed to understand the law from the ground up, and so we chose to do that because it's the biggest piece of healthcare legislation since Medicare. And so since that's true, we feel that our level of awareness in regard to this and any other things that come from it needs to be at the very top level. So we're happy to do that. You know, healthcare is changing. We coined the term the evolution of healthcare years ago, and at FBC we want to be the trusted advisor that helps our clients manage the evolution of healthcare.